Alright guys, Ronnie with the Local Losers here. Today we're going to be talking about RX7s. We're going to Beau's house, check out his car, talk about the turbo kit and just everything he's got going there. Alright guys, I finally made it after that long drive. Made it to Beau's house. He's out here with the RX7. Looking pretty.
Hello. We're here with my 91 RX7. I love this car. I haven't even driven it turbo yet, but it's probably my favorite car that I've ever owned, stylistically speaking. I've had cars that have been more reliable and that I've used as daily drivers and have gotten better gas mileage and all that, but I'm a big fan of 80s cars. This is a 91, but it's an 80s design. I've had it for, I don't know, a few years now. It ran for about 6 months. I drove it around. I even drifted it a little bit, but it's never been to an event. And it was just an NA S5 when I got it. It was in really good shape. I bought it for 400 bucks. I found it sitting in somebody's yard, and he didn't want any more. After driving it for about 6 months, the motor kicked. It's over here, looking like a pile of wires and metal. All right, I knew I wanted to go turbo after I blew my other motor, so I ordered an FD engine off of eBay. I have no idea how many miles are on it. It's an FD motor, which means it was twin turbo from the factory. A little more beefy than my NA motor, which I had also considered turbo in that, but decided against it. I knew that I was going to take the sequential turbos off and go with a big single turbo. I ended up going with this Borg-Warner S360. It's a 8375. It's nothing super fancy. It's still a journal bearing turbo, but it's twin scroll, and it was brand new, and I like it.
The question that everyone wants to know is how much of a pain in the butt is it to get that into this?
It's not really that big of a deal if you know where to find the information, if you know where to find the parts. It took a special cross member, which I got from Angel Motorsports. The FC and the FD motors mount up different on the bottom. They have the bolt placement is different on the bottom. So you had to get the special cross member, which they sent with solid motor mounts, which is nice. I assume that it's not going to get as much vibration as a reciprocating motor because it doesn't reciprocate, it just rotates. In order to get the power steering to work on the FD motor, I had to have a custom line made. I went to Napa to do that, and I think they charged me like 60 bucks or something like that. We did have to do a custom return line right here also. Everything's kind of wonky in there. The FD throttle cable didn't come with the motor, so I don't know if it fits. I ended up ordering a Turbo 2 throttle cable because the NA throttle cable was way too short. This Turbo 2 cable is super long, so I might have to do some research about where to mount these things here. Another thing with the FD motor is it came with the transmission. It's over there. The shifter doesn't come up in the right place, and the cross member that holds it up is different. It doesn't mount to the FC body. So right now, and everybody is going to hate this, I have my NA transmission mounted up to the FD motor. I want to say that all of the kegs, which is what they call the rotary blocks, all the kegs are the same as far as transmission mounting points. So I took the NA transmission with the NA flywheel and an NA clutch and mounted them up. It wasn't very difficult except for the big nut that holds on the flywheel. It takes a big, I don't remember how big the nut itself is, but just to let you know, it takes this tool right here, which is enormous and heavy, and I actually had to strap the engine down to a pallet and put all of my weight and hit it with a hammer to get the nut off. It's tightened down to multiple 100 foot-pounds or whatever. Eventually, I plan to go back with a Turbo 2 transmission, or possibly this FD transmission if I can find a Turbo 2 tailpiece for it. I think that if I read correctly, I can take this section off and bolt on a Turbo 2 tailpiece, and the transmission will mount up just fine. Once I got the motor in, I pretty much started ordering a bunch of parts. Like I already said, my turbo, I ordered this intercooler. It's an eBay intercooler, but I figure it's just a big air container, so it doesn't have to be anything special. I got an eBay radiator also. We still have some ducting to make for the sides to get airflow through here. However, I was able to fabricate my own little mounts for it, and keeping it pretty solid, if I do say so myself. So I wanted to upgrade the entire fuel system. So I went with some Injector Dynamics injectors. I think I got like 1700s and 1050s. As far as a fuel pump, I went with a Walbro 450. The fuel rails are KG parts. I don't remember where I ordered them from, but I like them. They're pretty. I got this Gliese Manifold to route exhaust gases to the turbo. It's super solid, super big. It's a true twin scroll. It runs separate wastegates. I got these Tile 38 MVSs. For now, I'm going to run blast pipes through the hood. I don't know if I'm going to run them into the exhaust later, or run them toward the ground, or what. I'm not sure what people do typically with their wastegate blast pipes. When I got the FD motor, it had this super OG daggum HKS blow-off valve on it. Super cool. Like, I've never seen anything like this, but that's super neat and old school.
It says super blow-off valve on it.
So it is indeed a super blow-off valve. I'm going to go back with this Gritty. This is the one that I ran on the, this is a Type RS. This is the one I ran on the Volvo wagon when I was drifting it. It worked fine, so we're going to keep it. I also read that when you do turbo rotary things, that you must have an oil cooler. So I bought this oil cooler off of eBay. I don't know, it was like 30 or 40 bucks. It wasn't very expensive. I bought these lines, which were do-it-yourself kind of lines. You get the fittings and you get the hose and you just kind of put them together yourself. It was pretty easy to assemble. I did a custom install on this right here, and that video is actually going to be the next video that we put up on our YouTube channel, so look for that one.
So, Beau, what's up with all this spaghetti?
The spaghetti?
Yeah, that's spaghetti.
What? Anyways, so I've been procrastinating really hard on this. This is a Haltech E8. It's kind of an older ECU, but it worked really well on my Volvo drift car, which is my last drift car that I had. We are also going to shoot a video of us putting all this together.
We have one wire done, right?
Yep, we have one wire done already. It's the intake air temperature sensor. Look how pretty.
Nice. I think we did a good job for our first time.
I think so as well.
We'll see if the car runs when we're done. So, what's going on with all this wiring?
This is factory stuff. This is factory. So I've just got to go through this and find out, figure out what needs to stay and what needs to go.
Headlights, that kind of thing, is what you're going to have to wire back, and then you're going to take all the engine wires out, correct?
Yeah, right on.
So, body stuff has to go back on, engine stuff will be left off.
A lot of people run different premixes and oils. I was reading that this is pretty good. Klotz Beanol. I don't know. That's what I'm gonna run, and you basically mix like an ounce to a gallon in your tank, and you just pour it straight in the tank. So I'll probably keep like bottles of this in the car for when I fill up, and I can just pour it in there. You know, and you just figure out. Some people run an ounce to a gallon. Some people run ounce and a half. Some people run 2 ounces to a gallon. I don't know what the difference is. I have a little more research to do, but this is what we're gonna run for now.
This RX7 looks so menacing with it just lowered this much, no front bumper, just exposing everything. It looks so good. And then you get over here and the wheels look good, But the car just feels like it's missing a little something.
Yeah, it's a little beat up. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's going to be mainly a street car, so I want it to be really pretty. I want it to have things like underglow and glittery paint. I want it to have vinyl. I had these wheels built by a buddy in Tucson. I had the faces painted kind of a sparkly gold color. I got these rims from VR Wheels.
Them ramps.
Yeah. It's also going to be getting a body kit. It's getting like a Duraflex BN Sports style. It's this one right here.
All right.
How that's going to look, but I'm hoping it's going to be super wide at the bottom. Look like a spacecraft. Look like a UFO riding around.
Dead a butt.
Eventually, it'll be getting a custom vinyl that a buddy of mine designed.
We might throw a one-frame flash in here just to give you guys a little sneak a peek.
Maybe.
Just
I'm
maybe.
a big fan of everything that's like late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, things like that. And as such, it's going to be getting a tape deck. It doesn't have a radio or CD player or anything in it right now, but I've got a tape deck for it. And I even bought some tapes off eBay with early 90s appropriate music, which I'm really excited about. I can't wait to roll around on the streets throwing tapes up in my car. So Ronnie is real irresponsible and didn't charge his camera.
I charged
so
it.
Hey, don't argue with me.
It just has like 2 minutes of
So we're having to swap cameras from that camera to my camera. So, you know, take that for what it is.
This big tank.
He's irresponsible. Whatever, Ronnie.
Dude, it's gigantic.
Your face is gigantic.
Probably with that camera.
Anyway, it's going to be a street car. So it's going to be flashy. It's going to have underglow, like I said before. It's going to shoot flames out the back. It's going to shoot flames out the hood. Hopefully, it won't catch on fire. And I won't get too many tickets. Because it's definitely going to pull some attention. As far as the interior, the seats are a little torn up. So I need to switch those out. That's a future mod that's going to happen. I have a custom steering wheel that I love. It's this sparkly blue, beautiful. It says Rotary the World across it. I'm trying to think of anything else that I can say about this RX7 other than I love it. But I mean, that's just pretty much it. I'm going to be rolling around in this thing, listening to 90s tunes, putting tapes in the tape deck, shooting fireballs. That's pretty much going to be me and the RX7. It's going to be our relationship until she blows. And then we'll rebuild it. And maybe we'll do a video on that.
Would you recommend somebody going down this road?
I don't know yet, because I haven't even driven this car with it being turboed. So we'll see. Maybe once we get it running, we'll do a big woohoo, this car rules, or this car sucks. Alright, we're getting out of here. That's it. That's pretty much it.
You're all fuzzy.
Is my head like really big and fuzzy?